Hello, my beautiful souls. I'm so grateful you are here with me right now, because it tells me that some part of you is tired of living in constant alarm and is ready, even just a little bit ready, to learn a kinder way to be with your own mind and your own heart. I want you to know right from the beginning, there is nothing wrong with you. There is only a nervous system that has been on duty for far too long. When we talk about stress, we often blame ourselves. We say, "Why can't I handle it? Why am I so weak?" But you are not weak, my darling. You are simply wired for survival, and that wiring has been running on high alert. Chronic stress is like living in a house where the smoke alarm goes off all day long, even when there is no fire. After a while, you can't think clearly, you can't relax, you can't enjoy anything, you just want the noise to stop. The brain is so beautiful and so loyal. When it thinks you are in danger, it moves all its energy from creativity and joy into protection and defense. Concentration becomes harder, memory becomes foggier, sleep becomes lighter, emotions become sharper. Not because you are broken, but because your mind and body truly believe they must keep you alive every second. Stress does not mean you have failed. It means your system has forgotten how to feel safe. And when we remember how to create even a little safety inside, the most extraordinary thing happens. The brain begins to come back online, the heart begins to soften, the world begins to feel less like an enemy and more like a place where you can perhaps, just perhaps, rest for a moment. So tonight, or this morning, or whatever time you are listening, I don't want you to try harder. You've tried so hard already. I want to offer you a gentle method, a handful of very small resets that you can use as often as you like to tell your beautiful brain you don't have to fight all the time. You can sit down, you can breathe. The first reset is wonderfully simple, and it begins right now. Just stop for one moment. If it feels comfortable, place a hand on your heart or on your chest or wherever feels soothing. Take one slow, full breath in through your nose and slowly let it out through your mouth. As you exhale, let your shoulders drop a little. Let your tongue soften away from the roof of your mouth. Now, while you do this, bring your attention to one point of contact. Your feet on the floor, or your body in the chair, or the warmth of your hand on your chest. That's all. Stop, breathe, be. You do not have to fix your entire life in this moment. You only need to interrupt the alarm. I want you to remember that. Every time you pause, every time you catch yourself in the middle of spiraling thoughts and you say, "Wait, let me take one breath," you are not wasting time. You are saving your nervous system. You are saying to your brain, "We are here, right now, and in this second, we are safe enough to breathe." This tiny interruption begins to carve a new path. Less panic, more presence. The second reset is about discovering what true rest feels like. So many of us think we are resting when we are scrolling, or answering messages, or watching one more noisy video. But that is not rest for the brain. That is simply replacing one stream of stimulation with another. Real rest is space. It is silence. It is softness. Imagine that your mind has been running like a crowded freeway all day long. True rest is like pulling into a quiet little garden by the side of the road. You do not have to stay for hours. 30 seconds of looking away from the screen and out of the window, allowing your eyes to wander to something far away, can begin to reset the visual system. 2 minutes of walking slowly down a hallway, feeling each step, can tell your body, we are not in a race. 1 minute of sitting with your eyes closed, breathing gently in and out, can be like a tiny nap for your nervous system. Productivity does not come from pushing. It comes from rhythm. Effort, then ease. Effort, then ease. You are not lazy because you need breaks. You are human. Your brain cannot give you its best ideas if it has no pauses, no spaces, no little moments to reorganize. So instead of saying, "I don't have time to rest," try saying, "I give myself tiny islands of rest so I can keep living." It's a very different energy, isn't it? Now, I want to bring you into your body, because the mind can create storms that do not exist. But the body will always tell the truth about what you are feeling right now. When you are anxious, your thoughts say, "Everything is wrong," but your body says, "My chest is tight, my jaw is clenched, my stomach is fluttering." Bodies speak in sensations, not in sentences. The third reset is what I like to call a body anchor. When your mind is racing, instead of chasing every thought, you gently escort your attention back into the body. Let's practice. Notice your jaw. Can you allow it to hang just a little, as if you are sighing? Feel your shoulders. Can they move 1 inch farther away from your ears? Notice your belly. Can you let it soften as you exhale? You might use a simple pattern. 10 seconds of relaxing your jaw, 10 seconds of relaxing your shoulders, 10 seconds of lengthening your exhale. It is like pressing 3 tiny calm buttons in your own body. Peace is not just a thought. Peace is a state your body remembers when you let it relax. When you do this, you are telling your nervous system, the emergency is over for now, even if your mind still wants to tell the old story. And if the tension comes back, that's all right. You can always return to your anchors again and again and again. Healing is repetition in a loving direction. For many of you, the word meditation may sound big or complicated. You might think you have to sit for an hour with a completely empty mind. That is not what I'm asking from you at all. Meditation, the way I use the word, simply means training your attention, like you would gently train a little puppy. You put the puppy down and say, "Stay," and it runs away. You bring it back, kindly, not angrily. You say, "Stay," again. It runs away again. You bring it back, kindly again. You don't expect the puppy to be perfect on the first day. You simply keep practicing. In the same way, when you sit for 5 minutes and watch your breath, in, out, your mind will wander. It will remember the laundry, the email, the argument, the old hurt. That is not failure. That is the exercise. Every time you notice you have wandered and bring your attention back to the breath, you are strengthening the muscle of calm. You are the only thinker in your mind, and you can gently choose again and again where you place your attention. So for this reset, find a comfortable position. Let your eyes close if that feels safe, and simply follow your breathing. When your thoughts drift, smile at yourself and say, "Oh, there I go again," and then quietly come back. Each return is a victory. Each return is you choosing not to be dragged by every thought. The fifth reset is one I love very much because it brings in the power of your own words as a protective blanket for your mind. The world will always have noise, opinions, dramas, problems. We are not trying to erase the world. What we are learning is how to decide what gets in. Protection in this gentle sense is not about building a hard wall. It is about tending a clear doorway. One of the most powerful ways to do this is through affirmation, through declaring the quality of energy you choose to live in. I want you to imagine your mind as a still, clear lake at dawn. The world might throw little pebbles, but underneath, the lake remains calm. Place your hand on your heart again and repeat softly with me, either out loud or inside. My mind is a calm, quiet lake. I reflect peace and love. Nothing outside of me has the power to disturb my inner stillness. Feel how those words land inside you. You might not fully believe them yet, and that is all right. We are planting seeds. You can create your own calm mind affirmations. I am safe in this moment. I give myself permission to pause. I meet this day with a quiet strength. Every time you say them, you are choosing which story to live in. You cannot always control the world, but you can decide how widely you open the gate of your attention and what you invite in. So, my dear, as we gather these resets together, I want you to see the pattern. We stop the alarm with one breath. We water the brain with little islands of real rest. We anchor ourselves in the body. We train the attention with gentle meditation. And we surround the mind with words that protect instead of punish. None of these practices ask you to be perfect. None of them scold you for being stressed. They are simply ways of saying, moment after moment, I am willing to learn a new way. I am willing to be kind to my mind. I am willing to give my heart a softer place to live. And if tears come as you listen, let them come. Sometimes the body cries not because it is breaking, but because it is finally relaxing after a very long battle. You have carried so much. You have survived so much. Now it is time to protect your beautiful brain, to heal your tender heart, not by force, but by love, by attention, by these small holy pauses that say, I matter, my peace matters, my nervous system is worth caring for. Remember, what you put your attention on grows. If you begin, even a little, to put your attention on calm, on safety, on gentleness, that calm will grow, that safety will grow, that gentleness will grow inside you and then all around you. Let me tell you a little story, my darling. Many years ago, I knew a woman who came to see me and said, Louise, I think I'm broken. I wake up tired, I rush all day. I go to bed exhausted and still my mind will not stop. Something must be wrong with me. Now, from the outside, she looked very capable. Good job, family, always busy, always saying yes. But inside, she felt like a little bird trapped in a box, fluttering and hitting the walls. So I said to her, what if we pretend for a moment that you are not broken at all? What if we pretend that your stress is not a verdict on your worth, but a message from your body and your mind saying, sweetheart, this is too much? And she just stared at me, because nobody had ever told her that before. She thought stress meant she was failing. She thought stress meant she wasn't strong enough. But stress, my dear, is not a moral judgment. Stress is a signal. Stress is a messenger. Stress is your own life force trying to get your attention. When you feel that tight chest, that racing heart, that busy, busy mind, instead of yelling at yourself, I want you to pause and ask 3 very gentle questions. What am I afraid of right now? Where in my life am I straining and forcing? What would help me feel 10% safer in this moment? Not perfect, not completely different, just 10% safer. Maybe the fear is, I'll fail. Maybe you're forcing yourself to keep working when your body wants a break. Maybe 10% more safety is simply sitting down, having a sip of water, and saying, I am allowed to stop for a moment. When you treat stress as information instead of condemnation, the whole relationship changes. You stop fighting yourself and you start listening. So let's play with that for a second. When you think about your day, where does it feel sharp and scratchy? Is it the morning chaos? Is it the endless decisions? Is it the constant notifications? Is it the way you speak to yourself in your own head? So often we try to fix stress by trying to be stronger or work harder. But very often the most loving thing we can do is to reduce friction, to make life just a little smoother for our sweet, overworked brains. Imagine you had a dear friend who was already overwhelmed. You wouldn't give her 10 more choices and a pile of clutter. You would clear a path for her. You would lay out her clothes. You would pour her a glass of water. You would write down what she really needs to remember. You can do that for yourself too. The night before, you can place a glass of water by your bed so your body doesn't have to beg for nourishment in the morning. You can clear one small space on your desk so your eyes see order instead of chaos. You can write down 3 important tasks for tomorrow on a simple list so your brain doesn't have to carry them all night like a heavy basket. This is not laziness. This is intelligent kindness. This is what I call designing for ease. Self-mastery is not whipping yourself into obedience. Self-mastery is arranging your life so you don't have to fight it all the time. The more you reduce unnecessary friction, the more energy you have left for what truly matters, and your nervous system begins to understand. Oh, we are safe enough to operate calmly. We are not under attack every second. It's so simple and yet so powerful. Now let's talk about boundaries, because sometimes the most stressful thing in your day is not the work you do, but the noise you allow in before your own soul has even had a chance to say good morning. Think about how many of us wake up and immediately hand our minds to the world. News headlines, arguments on social media, messages, demands, disasters, drama. No wonder the brain screams, danger, danger, danger. You would never open your front door at 6 in the morning and invite a crowd of strangers to run into your bedroom shouting, and yet that is what we often do with our phones and our screens. My dear, boundaries are not unkind. Boundaries are like a soft helmet for the brain and a warm coat for the heart. One very simple, very powerful boundary is this: I do not begin my day with drama. I begin my day with myself. That might mean no news, no scrolling, no emails for the first 30 minutes. It might mean choosing specific times to read messages instead of being available every moment. You are not a fire station that must answer every siren. You are a human being with a tender nervous system that needs moments of quiet to repair and reset. You might decide, after 9 p.m., I do not take in upsetting information, or until I have breathed and checked in with myself, I do not open the door to the world. These little agreements with yourself create a sense of safety inside, and when your heart feels safer, your brain does not have to live with its fists raised all the time. You cannot heal in a room that keeps punching you. You heal in a room that protects you, and you are the one who chooses who and what gets into that room. Of course, even with all these loving changes, there will still be days when the pressure rises, when the tears are close, when you snap at someone you love or forget something important, and the old inner critic rushes in. See, you're a mess. You'll never change. This is where healing the heart becomes essential, because a calm mind cannot grow in a field where the heart is beaten every day. When you notice that you are stressed, I don't want you to pile shame on top of it. That's like throwing stones at someone who is already lying on the ground. Instead, I want you to practice a new response. You can place a hand on your heart or wrap your arms around yourself and say very softly, "This is hard for me right now. I am not bad. I am overwhelmed. I will be gentle with myself." Just that. You acknowledge the difficulty. You refuse to add cruelty. You might even whisper, Of course I feel this way. I have been trying so hard for so long. And then ask, what is one small kindness I can offer myself in this moment? Maybe it's 3 slow breaths. Maybe it's a cup of tea. Maybe it's going for a little walk. Maybe it's closing your eyes for 2 minutes. The action is less important than the attitude. When the heart feels held, the brain can finally relax its grip. When the heart feels punished, the brain will stay on guard. So every time you choose a kinder sentence instead of a harsh one, every time you choose to comfort instead of criticize, you are telling your entire system, we are learning a new way. We are building a new home inside where it is safe to feel, safe to rest, safe to be human. And you are doing better than you think. You really are. You are listening. You are becoming aware. You are beginning to ask different questions. That is how change begins. One softer question, one easier path, one clearer boundary, one gentler sentence at a time. Now that we've talked about what stress does to your beautiful brain and tender heart, I want to make this very simple for you, very practical, something you can actually do every single day without feeling overwhelmed. Information is wonderful, but transformation comes from practice, from repetition, from what you are willing to do with your own 2 hands and your own breath. So let's create a tiny little sanctuary in your day, a 6-minute sanctuary. Not an hour, not a huge complicated routine, just 6 minutes that you can carry with you wherever you are. You do not need a perfect life to have a calmer mind. You need a few loving minutes that belong only to you. Think of this as your daily appointment with safety. Not safety out there, safety in here. 6 minutes where you tell your nervous system, we are not in a war zone. We are in a body that is learning how to feel safe again. And I promise you, my dear, if you do this regularly, your brain will listen, your heart will soften, and life will feel more possible. So let's walk through these 6 minutes together as if I am right there with you. The first step is so short you might think it doesn't count, but it does. It's 3 little seconds of stop, breathe, be. You simply pause. You stop whatever you are doing, you place your feet on the floor, maybe your hand on your heart, and you take 1 gentle full breath. Just 1. You don't have to fix anything in those 3 seconds. You are simply telling your system, we are pausing, we are not running. Then we move into about 60 seconds of what I call the body anchor. For 1 minute, you let your awareness come back into your body. You can notice your jaw and let it soften. You can notice your shoulders and let them drop a little. You can feel the weight of your body on the chair or the floor. You might breathe in for a count of 4, hold for 2, and breathe out for 6. And each exhale says, it's all right to let go. This 1 minute is like saying to yourself, come back home, sweetheart. Come back into your own skin. It's safe to be here. Then we take 2 minutes for what I call the rest reset. Remember, rest is not scrolling, and rest is not stuffing more noise into your mind. Rest is absence of demand. For 2 minutes, you can look out a window and let your eyes drift far into the distance. Or you can walk very slowly to the kitchen and back, feeling each step. Or you can simply close your eyes and allow your breath to move at its own pace. No one needs you for those 2 minutes. The world will not collapse because you looked at the sky. You are saying to your brain, you don't have to be on duty every second. You can relax the alarm. After that, we move into 2 minutes of a very simple meditation. Not a mystical experience, not a blank mind, just 2 minutes where your anchor is the breath. The air comes in, the air goes out. The mind wanders, you notice, and you gently bring it back. Wanders again, you notice, and you bring it back. Each return is a little victory. Meditation is not about never losing focus. Meditation is about practicing coming back with kindness. And then to finish, you choose one protection affirmation, one sentence that becomes your shield and your song. You might say, "My mind is a calm, clear lake. I reflect peace." You might say, "Nothing outside of me has the power to steal my inner peace." You might use the words, "I love. I am the only thinker in my mind, and today I choose thoughts that soothe me." You say it once, twice, 3 times, feeling it a little more deeply each time, and that's it. 3 seconds to stop, 1 minute in the body, 2 minutes of true rest, 2 minutes of soft meditation, 1 sentence that protects your peace, 6 minutes to tell your whole being, "We live in safety now." You see, what you are doing with this little routine is re-educating your nervous system. For many years, perhaps for decades, it has been taught we are in danger, and it has worked very hard to protect you. Now you are teaching it something new. We are allowed to exhale. We are allowed to have a quiet mind. We are allowed to feel safe even if everything is not perfect. Every time you do this, you are not just calming yourself for 6 minutes. You are building a new default, a new normal. And I want you to remember, you do not have to do it perfectly. If some days your mind is noisy during the meditation, that is all right. If some days your walk is only 1 minute instead of 2, that is all right. If you miss a day, you simply come back the next day. No punishment, no lecture. You just say, "I'm here again. I am willing to learn. I am willing to feel safer." The power is in coming back. The power is in choosing yourself again and again. Your brain learns from what you repeat, not from what you intend. So give it something loving to repeat. 6 minutes of love, 6 minutes of safety, 6 minutes that say, "I matter, my peace matters, my heart matters." And now, I would like us to finish with a few gentle affirmations for your calm mind and your healing heart. If you can, say them out loud with me, or whisper them in your mind. You might even place your hand on your heart or your cheek, as if you are comforting a dear child. Are you ready? Take a soft breath and repeat after me. I am safe in this moment. Again, a little slower. I am safe in this moment. One more time, letting it sink into every cell. I am safe in this moment. Feel how that lands in your body. Notice any place that relaxes, even just a tiny bit. Now we'll add the next one. I breathe out and I soften. Once more, I breathe out and I soften. And again, letting your shoulders drop, I breathe out and I soften. You are giving your body permission to unclench. Now say with me, I protect my peace. You might like the feeling of that. I protect my peace. And one more time with a little more conviction. I protect my peace. You are telling the world and yourself that your inner calm is precious. Let's keep going. Gently affirm, I allow my brain and my heart to rest. Feel how kind that is. I allow my brain and my heart to rest. One more time, as if you are tucking yourself into a warm bed. I allow my brain and my heart to rest. And now our last one for today. I choose to respond with love. Even if you don't know how yet, you can still choose it. I choose to respond with love. And once more planting the seed deep inside, I choose to respond with love. My dear, these are not just pretty sentences. They are instructions to your nervous system. They are invitations to your mind. They are medicine for your heart. You can come back to them any time during the day. You can whisper them in the car. You can say them in the bathroom. You can think them before you answer a message. You are teaching your beautiful mind that it no longer has to live in constant emergency. It can live in gentleness. It can live in steadiness. It can live in peace. And as you practice day by day, you will discover that your calm mind is not something outside of you that you have to chase. It is something inside of you that you are remembering. You are remembering who you are when you are not overwhelmed. You are remembering that you are worthy of a quiet mind and a soft heart. And I am so proud of you for even being willing to begin.